The deceptive invitation. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the diplomatic vessel New Horizon, watching the stars streak by through the massive viewport. The ship was humanity's finest creation, built specifically for their first major diplomatic mission beyond Earth's solar system. Its sleek hull gleamed white and silver, decorated with the blue and green emblem of United Earth. But beneath its peaceful appearance, the ship carried secrets that even Sarah didn't fully understand. 3 months ago, everything had changed. The Kelvani Confederation, a powerful alliance of 7 alien species, had sent an unexpected message to Earth. After months of tense border conflicts and destroyed human outposts, they wanted peace. The message had arrived through quantum channels that humanity barely understood, translated by alien technology that made Earth's computers look like stone tools. Sarah remembered the day the message arrived at United Earth Command. She had been in the briefing room with dozens of other officers, watching Admiral Jackson read the alien proposal with growing amazement. The Kelvani wanted to meet at a neutral space station called Unity's Rest to discuss not just peace, but full diplomatic relations and technology sharing. The room had erupted in arguments. Half the officers believed it was a trap. The other half saw it as humanity's greatest opportunity to join the galactic community. Sarah had remained quiet, watching the faces around her and thinking about the human colonies that had gone silent near Kelvani space. Families with children, scientists exploring new worlds, all vanished without explanation. General Marcus Webb had been the most vocal skeptic. The old soldier had fought in every major conflict of the past 20 years, and his instincts screamed, "Danger." "They've been picking off our settlements for months," he had said, his gravelly voice cutting through the debate. "Now suddenly they want to be friends. Something doesn't add up." But Earth's government had decided to take the chance. Humanity needed allies in the vast galaxy, and the Kelvani Confederation controlled trade routes that could make Earth wealthy beyond imagination. The decision was made to send a diplomatic mission, with Sarah chosen to lead it due to her experience with first contact protocols. Now, 3 weeks into their journey, Sarah found herself questioning that decision more each day. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the mission's xenobiologist, had been studying every piece of information they had about Kelvani culture. What she found was disturbing. "Captain," Alina said, approaching Sarah on the bridge with a data pad in her hands, "I've been reviewing the linguistic patterns in their peace proposal. There are some concerning elements." Sarah turned from the viewport to face the young scientist. Alina was brilliant, one of Earth's leading experts on alien psychology, but she looked worried. "What did you find?" "The Kelvani language has different words for peace depending on the situation," Alina explained. "There's one word for peace between equals, another for temporary ceasefires, and a third for the peace that comes after total victory." Guess which one they used in their message? A chill ran down Sarah's spine. "The third one, exactly. In their culture, this type of peace, negotiation is something a victor offers to a defeated enemy before final surrender. They might genuinely believe they've already won this war." Commander Alex Turner, the mission's security chief, had been listening from his station nearby. The muscular former Marine stepped closer, his hand unconsciously moving toward his sidearm. "Captain, I've been tracking our escort ships. The Kelvani vessels that are supposedly protecting us have been changing formation every few hours. They're not in a protective pattern anymore. They're in an attack formation." Sarah felt her stomach drop. When they had entered Kelvani space, 3 alien cruisers had appeared to escort them safely to Unity's Rest. The ships were elegant, with curved hulls that looked like silver teardrops, but they mounted weapons that could destroy New Horizon. In seconds, Sarah had been told they were there for protection, but Alex's observation changed everything. "Are you certain?" she asked. Alex nodded grimly. "I've run the patterns through our tactical computer 3 times. Those ships could disable our engines and weapons in less than 30 seconds if they wanted to. They're not escorting us, Captain. They're herding us." Sarah walked to her captain's chair and activated the secure communication system. She needed to contact Earth, but she knew the aliens were probably monitoring everything. Fortunately, General Webb had given her a special communication protocol before she left. It would make their messages look like routine system updates while actually conveying critical information. "Send a coded message to Earth Command," she ordered the communications officer. "Tell them we're experiencing unusual solar interference. That may affect our mission timeline. Include all of Alex's tactical data in the technical details." The message went out through space, carrying humanity's growing suspicions hidden in technical jargon. Sarah hoped General Webb would understand what they were really saying. Meanwhile, deep in space near Earth's solar system, Webb was already 3 steps ahead. The old general had never trusted the Kelvani peace offer, and he had spent the past 3 months preparing for treachery. What the aliens didn't know was that humanity had been learning their lessons from every attack. Every destroyed colony, every missing ship. Webb stood in the war room beneath United Earth Command, surrounded by holographic displays showing the positions of every human ship in the galaxy. To most people, it looked like humanity was defenseless. Their military fleet was small, their colonies were scattered, and their technology was primitive compared to the aliens. But Webb saw something different. "Status report," he commanded, and dozens of officers began updating him on secret operations across human space. "Operation Shepherd is ready," reported Colonel Martinez. "All civilian transports are in position and awaiting orders." "Mining operations report green," added Lieutenant Kim. "All asteroid facilities are operational." Webb smiled grimly. For months, humanity had been disguising their true preparations. Every civilian ship that left Earth carried hidden weapon systems. Every mining station in the asteroid belt had been converted into a fortress. Every seemingly innocent cargo run had actually been positioning supplies and personnel for a war the aliens thought they had already won. The general's philosophy was simple. If your enemy thinks you're weak, let them keep thinking it until the moment you prove them wrong. Back on New Horizon, Sarah received a reply from Earth that made her blood run cold. Hidden in routine technical updates was a message from Webb. "Solar storms detected throughout system. All ships advised to maintain emergency protocols. Operation Homecoming may begin soon." Operation Homecoming was the code name for humanity's contingency plan if the peace mission was revealed to be a trap. Sarah had hoped she would never hear those words, but now she understood that Earth's leadership was preparing for the worst. Dr. Rodriguez approached her again, this time with even more disturbing news. "Captain, I've been studying the design of Unity's rest station. It's not built for diplomacy. The conference areas can be sealed off from the rest of the station in seconds. The docking bays are positioned so that visiting ships can't support each other if there's trouble. And the station's weapon systems are all pointed inward, toward the docking areas." "It's a trap," Alex said bluntly. "The whole thing is designed to capture or destroy visiting diplomats." Sarah looked around the bridge at her crew. These were good people, volunteers who had risked everything to try to make peace with an alien civilization. Now they were flying straight into what appeared to be an elaborate ambush, and there was no way to turn back without starting a war. But as she thought about it, Sarah realized that maybe starting a war was exactly what the Kelvani wanted. Maybe they needed an excuse to attack Earth, and having human diplomats refuse their peace offer would give them that excuse. We continue to Unity's rest, she decided, but we go with our eyes open. Alex, I want every weapon on this ship ready, but concealed. Alina, prepare detailed analysis of everything you observe about Kelvani behavior. If this is a trap, we're going to spring it on our terms, not theirs. As New Horizon approached Unity's rest station, Sarah watched the alien structure grow larger on their screens. It was massive, clearly built by a civilization far more advanced than humanity. Its dark metal surfaces were covered with strange symbols that seemed to shift and change as they watched. Docking bays opened like hungry mouths, waiting to swallow. Human ships dot around the station. Sarah counted dozens of Kelvani warships. They were positioned as if for a celebration, but Alex pointed out that they were also positioned for a battle. Every human approach route was covered by alien weapons. Every possible escape path was blocked. Incoming message from the station, reported the communications officer. On the main screen appeared Ambassador Kelvesh Thara, the lead Kelvani negotiator. The alien was tall and graceful, with pale blue skin and large silver eyes that seemed to shine with inner light. When it spoke, its voice was like music, beautiful and hypnotic. "Welcome, humans of Earth," the ambassador said, spreading its forearms in what appeared to be a gesture of welcome. "We have prepared great celebrations for your arrival. Soon, the relationship between our species will be settled forever." As New Horizon approached Unity's rest station, Sarah watched the alien structure grow larger on their screens. It was massive, clearly built by a civilization far more advanced than humanity. Its dark metal surfaces were covered with strange symbols that seemed to shift and change as they watched. Docking bays opened like hungry mouths, waiting to swallow human ships dot around the station. Sarah counted dozens of Kelvani warships. They were positioned as if for a celebration, but Alex pointed out that they were also positioned for a battle. Every human approach route was covered by alien weapons. Every possible escape path was blocked. "Incoming message from the station," reported the communications officer. On the main screen appeared Ambassador Kelvesh Thara, the lead Kelvani negotiator. The alien was tall and graceful, with pale blue skin and large silver eyes that seemed to shine within a light. When it spoke, its voice was like music, beautiful and hypnotic. "Welcome, humans of Earth," the ambassador said, spreading its forearms in what appeared to be a gesture of welcome. "We have prepared great celebrations for your arrival. Soon, the relationship between our species will be settled forever." Sarah noticed the careful wording. Not improved forever or strengthened forever, settled forever. As if this meeting would end all questions about human-Kelvani relations permanently. "Thank you, Ambassador," Sarah replied, keeping her voice steady. "We look forward to working together for peace between our peoples." The alien's silver eyes seemed to flash with something that might have been amusement. "Yes," it said softly. "Peace. That is exactly what we will achieve today." As New Horizon docked with Unity's rest, Sarah felt the artificial gravity of the station take hold. Through the viewports, she could see dozens of alien beings moving through the corridors, all wearing what appeared to be ceremonial robes. But Alex noticed that many of them carried weapons beneath those robes, and their movements had the disciplined precision of soldiers, not diplomats. The moment of truth was approaching. Humanity was about to walk into what appeared to be an elaborate trap, but they would not walk in blind. Whatever the Kelvani were planning, they had underestimated human determination, human cleverness, and most importantly, human unity. General Webb's final message had been clear. Remember, every species in the galaxy thinks humans are weak and divided. Let them keep thinking that until the moment we show them the truth. As Sarah prepared to leave her ship and enter the alien station, she touched the small communication device hidden in her uniform. With one press of a button, she could send a signal that would activate humanity's real response to the Kelvani Confederation. The question was whether she would get the chance to use it. The airlock opened, and humanity stepped forward into the unknown, carrying with them the hopes and hidden strength of their entire species. The trap springs and humanity's response. Grand Ceremony Hall of Unity's Rest was unlike anything humanity had ever seen. The ceiling stretched hundreds of meters above, covered in shifting lights that created patterns like living constellations. Representatives from all 7 species of the Kelvani Confederation sat in elevated sections around the main floor, their alien forms creating a rainbow of colors and shapes. Some looked like walking crystals, others resembled giant insects, and a few appeared to be living clouds of energy contained in mechanical suits. Captain Sarah Chen walked beside Ambassador Kelvesh Thera toward the ceremonial table at the center of the hall. The peace treaty sat there, a document written in dozens of languages, its pages gleaming under the strange alien lighting. Thousands of beings watched from galleries above, their various eyes, sensors, and other sensory organs focused on the humans below. Dr. Alina Rodriguez stayed close to Sarah, her trained eye cataloging every detail of alien behavior. What she saw made her increasingly nervous. The Kelvani delegation showed none of the relaxed posture she would expect from beings celebrating peace. Instead, they moved with the tense readiness of predators preparing to strike. Commander Alex Turner maintained his position slightly behind. The diplomatic party, his hand never far from his concealed weapon. He had counted at least 50 armed guards positioned throughout the hall, all disguised as ceremonial attendants. The station's internal sensors showed more troops moving through the corridors outside, taking positions that would cut off all escape routes. The ceremony will begin with the traditional songs of 7 worlds, Ambassador Thera explained as they reached the table. Its musical voice carried clearly through the vast hall, but Alina noticed something odd in its language patterns. The alien was using ceremonial words associated with conquest, not cooperation. As alien musicians began playing haunting melodies that seemed to come from everywhere at once, Sarah touched her hidden communicator. She had made her decision. Whatever was about to happen, Earth needed to know. The tiny device sent a coded signal through quantum space, a simple message that would reach General Webb in less than 5 minutes. The sun is setting. On Earth, Webb received the signal while standing in the command center buried deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. The old general's weathered face showed no emotion, but inside he felt a mixture of sadness and determination. He had hoped the Kelvani might be genuine in their desire for peace, but he had prepared for this moment. Execute Operation Homecoming, he commanded quietly, across human space. The order spread through encrypted channels to ships, stations, and colonies that had been waiting for months. What happened next would have shocked the Kelvani if they had been able to observe it. The cargo ship, Peaceful Trader, was drifting near the outer edge of the Sol system when it received Webb's signal. To any observer, it appeared to be a simple, civilian vessel carrying supplies to the Mars colonies. But as the order reached Captain Lisa Park, the ship's true nature was revealed. Hidden compartments opened along the hull, revealing weapon systems more advanced than anything the Kelvani had seen humans use. The cargo containers split apart to expose missile launchers, particle beam cannons, and shield generators. In seconds, the Peaceful Trader transformed from a helpless merchant vessel into a heavy cruiser capable of taking on 3 Kelvani warships. The same transformation was happening throughout human space. Mining ships revealed themselves as mobile weapons platforms. Research stations activated hidden defense systems. Even passenger liners shed their peaceful disguises to show the weapons they had been carrying in secret. But the most important change was happening in the minds and hearts of humanity itself. For months, they had played the role of a defeated species, accepting alien attacks on their colonies and pretending to be desperate for peace. Now, in coordinated action across dozens of worlds, they dropped the pretense. Back on Unity's Rest, the signing ceremony was reaching its climax. Sarah approached the treaty table with Ambassador Thera beside her. The alien's silver eyes gleamed with anticipation as it lifted an ornate signing instrument that looked like a crystal wand. Today marks the end of conflict between our species, Thera announced to the assembled crowd. Humanity will take its proper place in the galactic order. Sarah heard the threat hidden in those words. Not an equal place, but a proper place. The place of a defeated and conquered species. The ambassador signed a treaty with flowing movements that were beautiful to watch. Then it offered the signing instrument to Sarah with what appeared to be a gracious smile. Around the hall, alien spectators leaned forward in anticipation. But Sarah didn't take the instrument. Instead, she looked up at the galleries filled with aliens and spoke in a clear, strong voice that carried throughout the hall. "Before I sign this document, I have a question for Ambassador Thara," she said. "In your language, what word did you use when you first offered us peace?" The ambassador's expression flickered slightly. "I used the word Thuraman, which means peace." "Dr. Rodriguez," Sarah called to her xenobiologist, "please explain to everyone what Thuraman means in Kelvani." "Culture." Alina stepped forward, her voice steady despite the danger. "Thuraman is the peace offered by a victor to a defeated enemy before final surrender. It's not a negotiation between equals. It's a demand for submission." A murmur ran through the alien. Spectators, some seemed surprised that humans understood their language so well. Others appeared angry that their deception had been discovered. Ambassador Thara's musical voice took on a harder edge. "You are well informed, but it changes nothing. Your species has already lost this conflict. This ceremony is merely a formality, has it?" Sarah asked. She touched her communicator again, sending a different signal. This one went to every human ship in the galaxy, including New Horizon. Suddenly, every screen in the ceremony hall displayed the same image, a tactical map showing the positions of ships throughout human space. The aliens gasped in shock as they saw not the scattered, defenseless fleet they expected, but hundreds of warships appearing from behind asteroids, emerging from gas clouds, and decloaking near every major trade route. "You see," Sarah said calmly, "while you were planning your trap, we were preparing our response. Every cargo ship you ignored was a disguised warship. Every mining station you dismissed was a fortress. Every civilian transport you didn't bother to track was carrying soldiers and weapons. The tactical displays continued, showing the transformation of human forces throughout the galaxy. Near Earth, the civilian traffic around space stations was revealing itself as a defense fleet that outnumbered the Kelvani attack force by 3-1. Around human colonies that the aliens had thought were defenseless, weapon platforms were rising from underground bunkers. But the most shocking revelation was still to come. Sarah activated her final signal, and the displays showed the true scope of human preparation. For the past 6 months, she announced to the stunned aliens, every human settlement, every ship, every station has been connected through a quantum communication network. While you saw us as scattered and weak, we were actually more unified than we had ever been in our history. The proof was undeniable. Across dozens of star systems, human forces were moving in perfect coordination. Ships that had appeared to be randomly scattered were actually in carefully planned positions. Colonies that seemed isolated were revealing themselves as connected fortresses. Ambassador Thara backed away from the treaty table, its silver eyes wide with disbelief. This is impossible. Our intelligence showed that humans are individualistic, competitive, unable to work together effectively. Dr. Rodriguez smiled grimly. That's what we wanted you to think. Yes, humans are individualistic, but we're also capable of unprecedented cooperation when we're threatened. Every person you dismissed as unimportant, every ship you ignored as harmless, every colony you thought was helpless, they were all part of the same plan. The screens now showed the space battle that was beginning around human territories. Kelvani attacked fleets that had been positioned to destroy defenseless human worlds found themselves facing coordinated resistance they had never expected. Human ships that had appeared to be fleeing were actually leading alien forces into carefully prepared ambushes. Captain Park's peaceful trader was now leading a formation of disguised human warships against a Kelvani battle group near Mars. The aliens had expected an easy victory against a few civilian transports. Instead, they found themselves outgunned and outmaneuvered by humans who had spent months learning their tactics on Unity's rest. The ceremony had turned into a tense standoff. Hundreds of aliens faced dozens of humans in the Great Hall, but the humans held the psychological advantage. The screens continued showing human victories across the galaxy, each one proving that the weak and scattered species was actually more dangerous than anyone had imagined. You have a choice, Sarah told Ambassador Thara. We can end this conflict right now with a real peace treaty, one between equals, or you can continue fighting and discover just how much strength humanity has been hiding. The ambassador's expression went through rapid changes as reports reached it from the space battles. Kelvani commanders throughout the galaxy were requesting reinforcements, reporting unexpected human resistance, asking for new orders as their carefully planned attacks fell apart. How, it whispered, how did you coordinate all of this without our knowledge? The same way our ancestors coordinated the construction of cities and the exploration of space, Sarah replied. We talked to each other, we shared information, we made plans together. You saw our diversity as weakness, but diversity is actually our greatest strength. When humans work together, we can accomplish anything. The final proof came as the displays showed the Battle of Titan, where a Kelvani invasion fleet had expected to find a lightly defended human research station. Instead, they discovered that every facility on Saturn's largest moon was actually a weapons emplacement, and the researchers were actually some of Earth's best military strategists, including General Webb himself. Webb's voice came through the communication system, reaching every being in the ceremony hall. "This is General Marcus Webb of United Earth Command. To all Kelvani forces throughout the galaxy, you are outgunned, outmaneuvered, and surrounded. Surrender now, and we will treat you with the same mercy you planned to show humanity. Continue fighting, and learn why humans are called the most dangerous species in the galaxy when they're defending their homes." Ambassador Thara looked around the hall at its fellow aliens. Many were already laying down their weapons, recognizing that the trap they had planned had become a trap for themselves. The Kelvani Confederation, which had seemed so powerful and unified, was revealed to be a collection of species held together by fear and conquest. When faced with real resistance, their alliance began to crumble. "We surrender," the ambassador said finally. "We ask for mercy and genuine peace negotiations." Sarah nodded and walked to the treaty table. But instead of picking up the alien document, she produced a new treaty that had been prepared on Earth. "This is a real peace treaty," she said. "Offers equality, mutual respect, and cooperation between our species. It's what we should have been discussing from the beginning." As the new treaty was signed by representatives of both species, the screens showed the end of fighting throughout the galaxy. Human forces were accepting alien surrenders while providing medical aid to wounded enemies. The principles that had made humanity strong, compassion along with determination, were on full display. Dr. Rodriguez later wrote in her report, "The Kelvani Confederation underestimated humanity because they judged us by their own standards. They saw competition and assumed weakness. They observed diversity and expected chaos. They witnessed our desire for peace and interpreted it as surrender. But they failed to understand that human strength comes not from uniformity or aggression, but from our ability to work together despite our differences, to show mercy to enemies, and to turn our apparent weaknesses into unexpected advantages. The galaxy would never see humanity the same way again. The species that had seemed weak and primitive had revealed itself as patient, clever, and incredibly dangerous when threatened. But more importantly, they had proven that it was possible to achieve victory without becoming monsters, to defend themselves without losing their compassion. As New Horizon prepared to return to Earth, Sarah looked back at Unity's rest station. The same aliens who had planned to destroy humanity were now working alongside human engineers to repair damage from the brief conflict. It wasn't the peace anyone had expected, but it was real peace, built on mutual respect rather than conquest. The message spread throughout the galaxy. Humanity was not to be underestimated, but they were also ready to be friends with any species, willing to treat them as equals. In the end, that combination of strength and compassion would make them one of the most respected and influential species in galactic history. Asterisk.